The town of Hollow Creek had always been quiet, hidden deep in the woods, wrapped in thick fog every autumn night. Everyone knew the legend of the Whispering Butcher, ghostly figure rumored to appear under the full moon, leaving mangled victims with a faint whisper lingering in the air. But this was no ordinary ghost story. It was personal to the town, a haunting they could never shake. One fateful night, for friends Sarah, Matt, Lily, and Tommy decided to test the legend. They planned a midnight visit to the old butcher shop at the edge of town, the supposed birthplace of the terror that haunted Hollow Creek. But none of them knew that their fate was already sealed. They reached the butcher shop, its walls stained with decades-old grime, and eerie silence pressing down on them. As they stepped inside, the air grew thick with the metallic tang of blood. An old meat hook swung from the ceiling, its chain creaking as if someone or something was watching them. "Do you hear that?" Sarah whispered, freezing in her tracks. A faint sound, like distant whispers, echoed through the shop. It felt almost familiar, but the whisper wasn't coming from around them. It was coming from inside them. Each friend heard something different. Sarah heard her father's voice, Matt heard his sister, and Lily heard her own voice, pleading for help. Just as they were piecing together the horrifying realization that the whispers were memories, a shadowed figure appeared in the doorway, holding an old, blood-stained cleaver. The figure stepped closer, and the friends scattered in terror. In their panic, Matt tripped over a loose floorboard, falling hard. The figure knelt beside him, close enough that Matt could feel the icy breath against his ear. "I know you," the whisper said. The butcher's voice was eerily calm, carrying an unsettling familiarity. Matt's scream filled the night as the cleaver came down. The others ran, horrified, but as they bolted toward the exit, Sarah paused. Something was nagging at her, a strange feeling of déjà vu, as if she had been here before. A memory flashed through her mind. Her grandmother once told her that the butcher was a curse upon the town, passed down through families. Only those with the blood could truly understand him. As Sarah and the others made it to a dead-end hallway, she found a trapdoor hidden beneath a dusty rug. In a moment of desperation, she pulled it open, urging everyone down into the cellar below. The cellar walls were covered in crude carvings of names, dates, and messages from those who had come before. "These are family names," Sarah muttered, her heart racing. She recognized some of them old family lines from the town, including her own. A horrible realization struck her. The butcher wasn't a ghost, but a curse, a living manifestation, tied to the families of Hollow Creek. Each name on the wall represented someone who had encountered the butcher and either survived or perished, forever haunted by his whispers. As they stumbled further into the cellar, Lily's flashlight flickered over something hanging from the ceiling, a figure hooked like meat. It was Matt, his lifeless eyes wide open, mouth frozen in a scream. But something was wrong. The look in his eyes wasn't of terror, it was recognition. That's when they found a dusty, cracked mirror against the wall. They approached it, and in the dim light, they saw not their own reflections, but ghostly faces of people they'd known, family members long dead. It was as if each of their ancestors was staring back, trapped. The butcher's whispers echoed louder, and it became clear he was a keeper of secrets, a punishment for sins buried in the town's past. The butcher appeared once more, his cleaver gleaming in the dim light. His whisper grew louder, filling their minds with fragments of memory scenes of betrayal, hidden sins, and sacrifices made in the name of family survival. Sarah confronted him, yelling, "Why us? Why our families?" The butcher tilted his head, and for a fleeting moment, his face shifted, resembling someone she recognized, her own great-grandfather. The butcher wasn't just an entity. He was made of the very souls of those who had wronged or betrayed their kin, becoming part of a collective curse. "You continue the legacy," he whispered, his voice now sounding like her great-grandfather's. "Your blood keeps me alive." Desperate, Sarah and Lily made a run for the exit, finally breaking free of the butcher shop and collapsing on the ground outside, gasping for air. But something wasn't right. They looked back and saw Tom's reflection, staring back at them in the cracked window of the butcher shop. He wasn't moving. It was as if he was trapped on the other side. That's when Sarah noticed something horrifying. The whispering hadn't stopped. It was inside her head, louder now, echoing her great-grandfather's words. "You are part of me now, as I am part of you." She looked at her hand and saw faint, ghostly scars forming along her palm, the same scars that she'd seen on the butcher's hand. The butcher wasn't done. He had passed his curse on to her. She could feel a dark hunger building within her, whispers filling her mind as her memories began to merge with those of past butchers. Days passed, and Sarah tried to return to a normal life, but the whispers haunted her every step. She found herself drawn to the old butcher shop at night, compelled by an urge she couldn't resist. She began to lose control, her own thoughts blending with those of the past butchers, until she could no longer tell where her own mind ended and theirs began. One night, under a full moon, Sarah was seen walking back to the butcher shop, a strange gleam in her eyes and an old, rusty cleaver in her hand. From that day on, people in Hollow Creek reported hearing faint whispers in the dead of night, filling them with dread. Sarah had become the new whispering butcher, carrying on the legacy of prisoner of the curse, doomed to haunt Hollow Creek for as long as her bloodline remained.